Julia Lopes de Almeida was one of the most influential Brazilian writers at the end of the 19th and the beginning of the 20th century. A pioneer in Brazilian literature, she addressed social, cultural, and gender issues in her works, reflecting the reality of Brazilian society of her time. Julia was also a defender of women's rights, advocating for female inclusion in the Brazilian Academy of Letters, from which she was excluded due to her gender. Besides being a novelist, she was also a playwright, short story writer, and chronicler, with a vast and diverse literary production. The novel The Bankruptcy, 1901, is set in the urban society of Rio de Janeiro during the transition from monarchy to republic in Brazil. The story revolves around Camila, a wealthy and influential woman, and her husband Francisco Teodoro, a rising businessman. Other important characters include Gervasio, Francisco's friend, and Margarita, the family's maid. The plot unfolds as Francisco's financial empire collapses, portraying the social transformations and the decline of the economic elite. The plot of The Bankruptcy delves into themes such as economic crisis, corporate corruption, and class tensions in turn-of-the-century Brazil. Camila, a multifaceted character, experiences an internal conflict between her duties as a wife and mother and her desire for personal and emotional freedom. Francisco Teodoro's financial collapse reveals the fragility of emerging capitalism in Brazil, highlighting the social consequences of bankruptcy. At the same time, the book discusses the limitations imposed on women at that time, who, despite their power in the private sphere, remain trapped in a patriarchal system. The Bankruptcy is a landmark in Brazilian literature not only for its portrayal of social and economic issues but also for being one of the first works to address the crisis of capitalism in Brazil. The book aligns with the realist naturalist movement of the time, offering a sharp critique of social inequalities and the institutions sustaining the economic order. Furthermore, Julia Lopes de Almeida presents an innovative view of female characters, questioning traditional gender roles in a patriarchal society. To conclude, here are the 5 main characteristics of The Bankruptcy by Julia Lopes de Almeida. Portrait of economic and social crisis. The novel vividly portrays the consequences of financial bankruptcy, both on a family and societal level, reflecting Brazil's reality in the early 20th century amidst its economic and political transformations. Female protagonist, Camila, the central character, is a complex and well-developed woman who challenges patriarchal norms by seeking her own identity and freedom amid social and familial pressures. Critique of capitalism. Julia Lopes de Almeida criticizes the emerging capitalism in Brazil, showing the traps of quick wealth accumulation and the devastating impacts of greed and corruption in the business world. Connection with realism naturalism. The novel belongs to the realist naturalist movement, marked by a critical analysis of society and human behaviors, focusing on the economic and social forces shaping the characters' lives. Discussion of gender and women's role. Julia Lopes de Almeida stands out by addressing the limitations and challenges faced by women in a patriarchal society, highlighting the tension between familial duty and personal desires. This was our summary of the novel The Bankruptcy by Julia Lopes de Almeida. We hope it helped you.